Hey guys, we're releasing a banter episode this week because, we are unprepared.
We are very unprepared. And this is the Escape Road podcast.
No, like literally though, like sometimes Ron and I just want to talk, right? I think the problem with podcasts is if you think too much into it and start writing down what you actually want to talk, it becomes kind of restrictive, don't you think?
It does a little bit, especially, when you want to prepare too much, it becomes a... you can't really think on the fly because you already have everything prepared.
Yeah.
But when you have these sort of banter episodes, you just talk shit. You can just talk about whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something. How do you feel about this camera pointing at you, at your face? How comfortable are you right now?
This is the second time I've had a camera point at my face. The first one was the Benson.
How was that?
Kev episode. I was very, very much conscious of the camera.
Really? Okay.
I think so. It's almost like I'm too vain.
Oh shit!
Too vain to not think about it. I mean, I know being vain is a bad thing, and I don't want to be vain, but it's almost natural to think about it.
There's a yin and yang for everything, right? Like what's vain? What's the opposite of vain? Modesty, right? So, which part of it is vain? Which part of it is like seeking for attention here?
I don't think seeking attention. I think it's more I just don't want to look like a fucking idiot. I don't want to do shit that makes me look dumb.
What kind of thing do you think you're gonna do in front of a camera that would make you look stupid?
I remember in that episode, I was I think when you guys were talking cameras, I didn't really know what to talk about, so I didn't know how to contribute. So I was just trying to drink coffee.
Yeah,
and I was like very careful in how I picked up the coffee mug, how I sipped it, how I put it down, and how I try to look like I'm staying engaged. But honestly, I was sort of vibing out a little bit because I didn't really know anything about cameras and all that stuff.
That's all right, man.
That's just
for me,
a little bit out of my comfort zone there.
It's okay, man. It's okay. Like for me, like I was, I guess the camera being in front of me is like makes me a little bit conscious about how I speak, and sometimes when I talk to people, and this is especially true for when I'm trying to sell a camera.
Yeah.
If I don't slow myself down, I tend to ramble, and my ramble don't make any sense at all. And me being hypercritical about myself, and this is like a common occurrence, I tend to think as I talk, and the thought that goes when I'm talking is like, what the fuck are you're talking about right now?
That happens to me as well.
Right.
Honestly, I think that's something that happens to me as well. And sometimes I just wish I could just stop talking at some point and let the other person give me some sort of feedback, and then we can have that conversation.
And, maybe this is like our defense mechanism when we're actually talking on a podcast. This is probably why we speak as slow as we do. It's because we're trying to collect our thoughts while we're talking.
And that's why it takes me so long to get to that point, right? Because I'm like so conscious. God. I'm really trying to build that foundation.
You have to see.
Get to that point.
I'm just sitting there sometimes. I'm listening at 60% more than how do you even say that? 60% the speed of it?
60% extra.
Yeah,
60% faster.
Yeah, 60% faster. And I'm thinking, fuck, this guy's still talking about the same point.
I mean, look, here's how you can help me. When we're having that conversation and you feel like that, the conversation is sort of like doing a little bit of circle, going around the roundabout. Just ask me a question.
Okay.
That can help me get to the point.
That's a good mitigation of that.
Yeah, I mean, just ask me a question. I'll get to my point faster, and I mean that definitely helps without being like, hey, get to the point,
It's like, mate, chop, let's go.
So play that music to say, hey, let's get to the point.
That's so funny, man.
But you know what sort of a little bit interesting to me, and it's something that I haven't really experienced, is that you talked about a lot about your ego, especially in the past. You talk about your past with your you want to
my ex,
your ex, and
it's okay, bro. Just talk. I'm an open book. I'm an
very very egotistical, and
I had a shit relationship, which helped me a lot. Yeah.
But I feel like I've never really experienced like that ego from you. in the time that I've known you, even before when you got close, I've never really felt that ego from you. Is it you being too self-critical, or do you think there is that ego?
No, there I definitely was. I think it's because you didn't really know me, and when I talk to people, whoever I talk to, I'm a different person,
Yeah.
right? And if you get really close to me, like for example, Abby is right, like my girlfriend. She notices a lot of these things, and there's a couple of things she doesn't like about me, and I still have those traits. For example, if I don't know you, if there's no reason for me to respect you, I will show that. Right? Because you're my close friend. I respect you a lot. That's why you see me. I'm when I talk to you or how I act to you is I'm very courteous. I will go out of my way to help you out. This is how I am because you're my close friend. But if I don't know you, fuck you.
but if that's the case, then why do you have an ego with Abby?
Why do I have an ego with Abby? Because I'm an open book with her, and of course I would respect her, but I also feel close enough to her to reveal my true self.
So in a way,
it's the same. I think it's the same thing with other people as well. And I would say even for yourself, when you talk to random people or whoever you talk to, you become really not who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I think if a random person was to criticize me, I'll be very defensive because my first thought is, this person doesn't fucking know me.
But it's strange as well. Like if I have to be like at the shop, right? When I'm, it's like a customer service face. You're very nice. You give things. You give the notes with two hands, and
that's too much.
Well, that's basically how I am when I'm selling a product to somebody. Like I become that person. Like I am under you right now, so kind of thing, But in my head, I'm like, I don't like you. But it's just very hard for me to speak my mind for some odd reason. But yeah, like in saying that, my last relationship, because like because of how I was treated in that relationship, it just made me think like, fuck, man, it totally destroyed my ego compared to now.
But I mean, it sounds like you were had more of an ego back then than now.
Yeah,
but I still don't think I've really dealt with that ego before, which is odd because you talk about it.
Well, when you do, let me know.
But that's the thing. I feel like either you're holding something back, which could be productive and constructive, or I just don't see that ego.
This is actually a strange thing. Then I'm pretty open to talk about this as well. Like I've been thinking about that. I'm like, should I see a psychiatrist, like a therapist, to discover myself a bit more?
Honestly, if psychiatrists or psychologists or shrinks, if they were affordable, I would definitely go to one. Okay. I want to see what's wrong with me or what I can do better. Like I really do subscribe to the to the understanding that I'm not perfect and that there's a lot of things I can learn. And if I can learn more about myself, maybe that can help me do other things better.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, psychologists and psychiatrists, they're not cheap.
So I've heard. But then there are some people who said that you can actually get government subsidies for that. I'm not sure. The idea is very appealing to me because obviously there's things that I can't talk with you. There's things that I can't talk with Abby or anybody else. It's just like internal conversation that I have with myself that I don't know how to talk to anybody because I know this is like not something that I want to talk about with anybody that I know. Right.
Well, it's something that you're sort of dealing with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure everybody has some sort of internal conversation with themselves. Let us know, by the way, guys. But yeah. I mean, I'm interested. Like, I've never seen a therapist. I've never seen a psychologist or counselor or anything like that.
That's the word. Yeah.
What were you thinking about that before?
Oh, I was trying to get to the therapist where I got to shrink.
A shrink is, I mean, isn't that for like crazy people?
Don't necessarily. I think it's just one, I guess, one word to refer to them as. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right in the sense that there's things that even with when you're in a relationship, you want to be as open as whatever with that person.
I would argue, yeah, that even in a relationship, someone who's meant to be the closest person
Yeah.
to you on this earth still wouldn't know things
You're
about
still
you.
holding that sort of that 1% back,
There's
right?
still that. I would even say 10%.
10%.
Yeah, 10%.
Okay.
There's definitely things that I hold
Yeah.
back from Abby, and I hope she doesn't hear this episode because she's probably going to ask me about it.
But at the same time, I think that other person should be almost accepting that you're holding this back for yourself because it's not something that they can necessarily help you with, or it's you know, I feel like people, just because they want to keep things to themselves doesn't mean that they're trying to keep secrets. I feel like it's more like
secret would be a good topic to discover, I reckon.
Secrets, yeah. I mean, the fact that there are things that I don't know, and even Ebby, who's the closest person to you, doesn't know. I don't think that's a bad thing
at all,
necessarily. Like, I think that's and that's where the idea of a therapist will come in, where they sort of take away that 10% that you don't tell anybody. Because you can talk to them about it.
Do you know how much they cost, like therapists?
Probably, I don't know. I'm just gonna throw up a ballpark based on what I've heard. Probably about 150, 200 maybe.
Interesting.
For an hour.
$150 for an hour.
I could be totally wrong, but that's what I have.
You know what? If it's $150 an hour, I will sit down, record myself, and then give them the tape. speed it up by like 20% the speed.
Make it half an hour.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, it's funny with the topic that we sort of just
covered,
criticisms.
Yeah,
I think even with criticism, there's a lot of things that how we process it. There are things that we don't tell people about how we process things. How I deal with criticisms, I feel like I haven't really told anybody about it until now.
Mm-hmm.
But talking about it and bringing it out to light, and sort of doing a little bit of research on it, I realized that everybody sort of thinks about it this way. Yeah, so maybe that 10% you're holding back is not necessarily some sort of terrible thing.
Yeah,
maybe a lot of people, maybe Ebby even thinks that way.
Yeah, it's weird because the saying no man is an island, and then you have like conflicting articles saying that we live in a closed-knit society, a globalized society, and then you have people like holding things to the point where they go crazy about themselves, or just go crazy, nuts. Right, it's such a what's a word, a dichotomy, right?
So how much of it do you want to keep to yourself, and how much do you want to let it out and people see you as a nutter or a crazy? I
mean, if it was up to me, like if I didn't have these restraints on myself, and I want to know, like, if anyone has this sort of thinking as well, like if it was up to me, I would like to be 100%, but obviously there's things
100%
fully open,
yeah.
But in saying that, there's obviously some restraints about myself that I'm not willing to talk about, which is a very strange thing.
I mean, again, I really, really don't think that you have to be 100% open. I mean, 100%, that is reasonable. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But I think there's that sort of the percentage points where you sort of keep to yourself.
There's something that's interesting that Dan said in the Benzin podcast episode that's gonna come out, guys. This is what he said to me. He said that people who vlog, even though that you think they are portraying their life as you see it, there's still a level of curation that goes into it before the final product comes out, which is what you see on YouTube. There's still a lot of creation because, what you're seeing is basically 10 minutes of their life compiled to the highlight of their day. There's freaking 24 hours that you haven't seen. Like, you don't see them go toilet, you don't see them like shit, you don't see them go toilet.
Just a very, very shower scene of somebody introducing a shop and walking in.
Yeah.
And seeing them walk in. That's at least two shots.
Yeah.
As a shot taking them from the outside and one from the inside of them coming
That's
in.
right. I mean, look, this is probably going to be the intro. It's like, hey.
And then here we go.
Hey, welcome to the Escape Road podcast, everybody. Kind of thing, you know?
That entire that very, very sort of simple
Yeah.
scene of walking in and entering, we don't really think about it.
No,
But that
don't.
takes at least 2 shots.
It does. Like, you know, the whole they open the car and the camera's already shooting.
Yeah.
Like, think about it for a second. They must have went to the car, put the camera, set up the shot, make sure it's nicely in frame, make sure that the camera's stable for a minute, close the door, walk out like 2 meters away, and come back in. That's like what, 10 minutes of worth of work right there. It's crazy.
Especially if you're like a vlogger who does their own shooting. You're literally shooting yourself twice, doing the same thing twice.
It's a full-time. It's literally a full-time gig.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I thought that I wouldn't mind having a vlog. Then the question arises, like, am I really that interesting? And then second is like, do I really want to do all that work?
Well, editing and all that shit.
I mean, you've seen the videos I've done, right? Like for the gym and what. That was like a minute of video. That took me 3 hours to shoot. Like 3 hours being there, shooting it, and just, you know, sweating balls and whatnot. Coming home and seeing for another like 2 days, figuring out how I can compile this together. And people don't realize this. Like, videos is a lot of work, like compiling videos together.
Well, you know, you were showing me some of your work with the drone shots. You know, like a 2-minute video.
Yeah,
would take an hour just to film it.
Right.
And then, you know, hours after that just to make it look nice and compress it to a state where it's presentable.
Sure.
A 2-minute video will take you upwards of what, 3 hours, 5 hours.
Then you extrapolate that to feature length movies, 2 hours worth of work. And you think about like movies like Lord of the Rings or The Irishman, which is like 3-4 hours. How much is it? 3.5 hours or something?
4 hours, I think.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Good movie. Loved it. Great movie. But 4 hours of movie is probably like a year or two worth of work.
It's a lot of filming.
It's a lot of filming. And the special effects that comes into it to make Robert De Niro younger. Oh my God. It's a whole world of its own. And for me, like, it's a very fascinating world.
Is this turning into a film review?
I guess so.
This is sort of where the banter episode sort of goes. This goes in
By the way, I want to know what you guys think, by the way. I'm looking at you guys in the camera right now. Like, what do you guys think of this banter episode? Is this more interesting than our regular content? If it is, let us know in the review. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll bring you out, because we do this post episode each week. So after we record the episode, Ron and I sit down and really dish out our mind to let us know what we're thinking about.
So we record all of them, but the difference is that for those recording, we just sort of let our minds flow. I think
that's right,
because we sort of know that this might be going out. We do sort of, I think, try to keep it.
Yeah,
so we can go out.
But who knows? Maybe it's like a balance of like structure and a balance of like free flowing. That might be the formula for a good podcast, right? Like, I mean, there are some podcasts out there who free flow only, right? Meaning that they come to the podcast, no notes, zero, no list of what they're going to talk about, just like begin talking. And I think personally, it's a recipe for disaster. I like what we got right now, dude.
Yeah,
like this table,
we're just
like
flowing. We're just
So we're trying new things out, just to get this podcast going. Like, I mean, obviously, I don't think we're there yet in terms of like listeners.
We've
like,
done 20, almost 30 episodes.
Yeah,
almost 30, but
almost 30 episode, and the amount of views that we listeners that we have, just to put it out there, that's about 300. Just over 300 listens for all of those episodes already. So if you average it out,
it's probably more than that, because I think we moved. What do you call platforms or hosts? So it's more than that, but I definitely think that we could probably do more.
I think if you if we're gonna be putting this on YouTube, we're gonna get a better idea of like the numbers of people. So yeah, I mean, it's always good. It's always, I mean, you know,
I feel like YouTube is like just a whole new audience.
Yeah. And then we're probably gonna have to do TikTok soon too, so I can start dancing and shit. Look,
how much do you want to sell yourselves out?
I'm worried. I'm worried because like I'm looking at TikTok, watching the content that there is on it. There's quite I'm gonna say some thoughtful content on there, but
I'll say it's 95% trash.
95% is
5%
probably
is
like the right
decent.
idea. But it's like everybody's like competing for space on there at the moment, and it's not as well established as say Instagram or YouTube or Facebook.
But it's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the other thing as well is I think a couple of weeks ago I saw 3 kids dancing to a phone recording. And I'm pretty sure it's a TikTok thing. I'm like, fuck, these kids can just
Well, on the street.
like on the street. I'm like looking at them like, fuck, these kids are like fucking idiots. But then again, like, you know, maybe they've got like 100,000 followers. They probably don't, but
one of my workers, who works for my dad now, my main like employee from the market is. I sent her to my dad. She's an avid TikToker.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got her on Instagram, and it, like she's always got videos out there her dancing about TikTok and stuff like that. And I'm like,
dancer?
Huh?
She's a good dancer.
She's okay. She's got moves.
Got moves.
She's okay.
Does she drop it like it's hot?
How do you even define that? What is dropping it like it's hot?
So I don't know.
Dating myself right now,
I know
guys.
nothing about dance, and these are just sort of like terms
dropping
that
it like it's
heard
hot
from like songs and stuff.
Bro, you are totally dating yourself by saying that.
Dropping like it's hot, like what? Early 2000s? Like no, 2010s maybe, early 2010s. Yeah, it's pretty quite clearly I'm out of the dancing.
Yeah.
Some might say never been there. So yeah.
Anyways, guys, I think we're going to cut it short today. I just want to release a 20-minute, not even, I think it's going to be like more of a 15-minute episode this week.
We'll see
just to see the response. I want to know what you guys think. So definitely hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. We'll definitely like to know what you guys think of like our banter episode, and if it's something that you guys like to hear more of. I mean, we could start releasing twice a week, one of our regular content, self-development content, and this content, which is more of like, hey, what are we thinking really?
Yeah, I mean, we could be releasing maybe 2 episodes a week, possibly one that's almost unedited.
Yep.
And yeah, let us know how it goes. These you know, for me and Fung, these are kind of fun because we're not tied to any sort of structure. We're not tied to any topic. We're just sort of just flowing. And
eyes on our viewers, Ron. Talk to them.
And yeah, you know, if you want to support us, there's Patreon, $2 a month, and that will help us drink more wine and beers.
Sweet stuff. All right, guys. Have a good night. See ya.
See ya.